Everyone. This is Cindy. I'm Cindy Barger from the Treasurer of State's office, and I am the Director of TrustINdiana, which is the state-sponsored local government investment pool. A little bit about me. I know many of you know me already, but as the years continue, the numbers that I have go up as far as my time served at the state. So maybe a little bit new information. So I've worked for the state for over 13 years. Started at the Indiana Bond Bank, and that stint was about over 6 years. Went to the Indiana Finance Authority for a year, and then an opportunity came to go and work for as director of TrustINdiana, and I jumped at the chance. I love local government, and so and I love interest-bearing accounts, and so this seemed to be a great fit for all involved. So in the almost 7 years that I've been with TrustINdiana, I've loved getting to know each one of you and traveling across the state to visit you in your offices. It's fun to see people in their place of employment and where they feel most at home. And it just gives me a little picture into what you do on a daily basis. And makes me appreciate what you do quite a bit more, knowing everything that you have to handle and juggle. So I'm happy that you've joined us today. I would rather join you in person, but I'm hoping we can do that very soon. Today I'm going to tell you about TrustINdiana. You may already know about it, but there's always maybe a little bit of new information to come. But if you know this information already, bear with me. If you don't, I am happy to take questions afterwards, and actually on the phone afterwards if you don't want to ask on here. So I will get started. TrustINdiana is investing for local government. It is a fund that was set up for you and only for you. You have to be part of the state of Indiana as taking in tax dollars using public funds in order to be a part of this. So it is a special fund just for you. The purpose of it was to give yourself an opportunity for investment. We all know that investing seems to be kind of another language. Some of us understand it a little more than others, and for those of us that understand it a little bit less, it's nice to have something that you can depend upon in order to bring a little bit more money into your community. And while we're maximizing safety and the ability for you to use your funds whenever you need them. So the structure of this, it was established by the Indiana State Legislature back in 2007, and the pool opened at the beginning of 2008, and it is run through the Indiana State Treasurer's office. So here you see a breakdown of entity type, not necessarily how much money each has in TrustINdiana, but it's kind of fun to see what units are involved and kind of the makeup of how many as the pool as a whole. Being the nerd that I am, I was looking at this morning and thought, you know what, I wonder how many, you see that counties fill 21%, municipalities 25%. And so on and so forth. And I thought, I wonder what the total number of each of these units that are in the state of Indiana. So good old Wikipedia may not be extremely accurate. So if you know any different, I'm always willing to hear what the truth is versus what maybe Wikipedia says. But some of these are Wikipedia, others are probably better sources. But we can see that the biggest percentage belongs to municipalities, which would be cities and towns. And from my calculations and research, it looks like we have almost 2,500 in the state of Indiana. So as a whole, they make up they do make up the most government units or local government units in the state. Then we see that counties, we see that schools come in a close second. School districts, 291 school districts. And then we have counties, which makes up, of course, 92. And then libraries, which would be about 443 local public libraries. And I didn't miss out on townships. They are a higher number at 1,008. And then The rest, the other 10% or almost 11% would make up sewer districts, airport authorities, transportation authorities, and other government units. But it's kind of fun to look at as a whole, what percentage of the number of entities within this circle are made up, and as compared to how many there actually are. Here you see very important people that are associated with TrustIndiana. First, we have Treasurer Mitchell, who is our Indiana State Treasurer, and she heads up TrustIndiana. And then we have Mike Frick, who is the Chief Deputy Treasurer, as well as the Portfolio Manager for the state, and he takes in all the money that the state has, incoming money, taxes and such, and he invests it and tries to make money for the state. And actually, he's very successful at making money for the state. Dwayne Jashaway is Assistant Portfolio Manager, and he assists Mike on a daily basis on the investment of funds as well. And then Ryan Locke, who has quite a few titles with the State Treasurer's Office. Not only is he a Deputy Treasurer, but he is the General Counsel for the Treasurer's Office as well as for TrustIndiana. And then he plays an important role as Executive Director of the Board for Depositories. And the Board for Depositories, as he will talk to you on, it is an important agency that helps make sure that our banks are healthy. The banks that you invest your money in are healthy. So each of these people play a very important part in TrustIndiana and are key to making it the success that it is. We invest your money for you. We do not have access to your funds. We are, though, able to pool money together from all the various agencies that put their money into the TrustIndiana pool. And we take that and on the economies of scale are able to invest it in a larger amount and negotiate rates for your interest rates. We can see a sample of what our portfolio may or may not look like. I can always tell you that in the Indiana bank deposits, we are required to have 50% within Indiana banks. So that will never change. Always, well, I should say, as long as the law is what it is, Indiana code is what it is, Indiana bank deposits will always be 50%. In order to change that, we would have to go before the state legislature and have them make that change. Some other investments that the portfolio may or may not be invested in is commercial paper, money market funds, U.S. agencies, repurchase agreements, U.S. Treasuries. Now, each of these is what the state is also allowed to put their money in, with the exception of commercial paper. And because we have a very trusted, very knowledgeable, and well-educated team of investors, we are allowed to do this. No other agency, no other municipality is allowed to invest in this. We take a great deal of care because we know how important this money is to you and your community in anything that we invest money in. It's been through all sorts of, I would say, been through the ringer, each piece of paper that we would invest in prior to putting money in there. And so you can be rest assured that your money is safe. And for every dollar invested, we've always been able to give $1 plus interest back. As you can see, the total assets on hand are $1.82 billion. And this speaks volumes for you all putting your trust in TrustIndiana. And thank you for trusting us, and we will always strive to do the best we can for you. I'm excited about that number too, I have to say. Our primary goal, obviously, is to safeguard your public funds, and yet we want you to get some interest. This slide is a little bit sad to me, although, well, we look at a year ago, we were at 2.19%, and then we look at this past July, and we were at 25 basis points. It's hard to see this. As the economy readjusts, we may be here for a little bit, but we are glad that we're not at a zero interest. I must knock on wood while I can, just to be sure, not that I'm that scared by it. But anyway, the 25 basis points doesn't look nearly as good as before, but like I said, we're striving to get you the safest and best interest rate that we can. Our growth over the last few years since we've been with Public Trust Advisors, we started back in 2015 as our asset management group. These are our experts with $505 million, and we've since grown to over we're at 1.5 billion, and I'm pretty pleased with that. Again, thank you to you all for trusting us with your funds, and it's a pretty great number to see. TrustINdiana, I feel like I keep repeating myself, but we do our best to keep costs low as well. Now, when I talk to each of you, I tell you that your account is free, and it is free, and we'll always strive to keep it free. One of the ways we do that is by keeping the low-cost structure, and by doing that, we utilize technology. And here we go. We make your investments liquid on a daily basis. We use professionally managed portfolio, and these are our experts that help us with that. And then the convenience through a web-based portal for you to invest and withdraw your funds. While we keep our costs low, when we keep our costs low, we're able to return any savings directly to you in the interest rate. So your account is free, and transactions would be free for you as well. And I think we cover that here in a little bit. Here's some additional features, and you can read through these. I'd like to focus your attention on the dedicated client service representatives. These are representatives that are waiting to take your calls. They're not sitting doing nothing. They are extremely busy, but they patiently take your calls when you have a need and are there to help you should you have any issues. They are a wonderful team, and I cannot give them enough kudos for everything that they do. They even answer my phone calls, which I might go running if I called myself. So, but here are some other additional features which you're going to get with TrustINdiana. Features. Let me tell you about participant-to-participant transfers. If and when you have an account, you are able to add other entities that are also invested in TrustINdiana to your account, not so that you can see their balance or not so that you can take money from them, but suppose that you need to send money to another entity that is involved with TrustINdiana. We do participant-to-participant transfers, which are super easy, leaves the banking costs out of it. It's free for you to do. I love this feature as I'm involved in the TREX program, and many of you are familiar with the debt set-off program, where the state of Indiana will send money to the TrustINdiana portal, and then we can take it and we can distribute it to each of you, and that makes it so that the state auditor's office isn't having to give each of you an ACH or a wire directly to your bank account. So it saves money both on your side and on the state side. So I love this feature, and it is super easy to use, as I have been using it all year long to put money into your account, thanks to Association of Indiana Counties. And if you're interested in what the TREX program is, get with me later. I'll tell you how it works. Or maybe you can talk to one of your other cohorts, and they may know as well. So unlimited sub-accounts. This just means that you have your main account with your entity name, whether you're a school or a county or town, city, and such. You have various accounts to which you'll be audited on. Every entity, every governmental unit will have different sort of accounts where all of us have general accounts and rainy day funds. A school may have a different account than what a county has. So what you can do is open accounts for each of those funds. When you put money in, the benefit of this is that not only does it keep your banking, your statements separated, but the interest that you earn from that money in that particular fund goes directly back into that fund. If you have an investment policy, you could decide, your council can decide that that money can go back into that account or whether it needs to go back into your general fund. So don't take my word that the interest can go directly back into that particular account. Make sure you check with your council to make sure that that parameter has been set. But from our standpoint, if you have a different fund than your general account that you want a sub-account for, then that interest will go directly into that, back into that sub account. So there's a great benefit on that. And then future dated transactions, which I've done. If you miss the end of date at 2 p.m. Eastern time, if you miss that cutoff, it will show you that cutoff has been missed. But what you can do is set it for tomorrow. Set that withdrawal, set that contribution to tomorrow, and then you can forget about it. It will happen. I suppose you're going to be on vacation next week and you need a transaction to take place. You can set that ahead for while you're gone that week. Additional benefits, like I said, it was free, unlimited transactions. We're not going to limit you to 5 transactions. Dual authentication. When you log into your account, you have your own specific username and password, and identifies then under that username, you are the person that has made this transaction happen, and that will state that on your transaction. The page the email that you get that states that a transaction has taken place. Sorry, slipped my mind here. Your mapped bank accounts, you only see the last 4 digits of the bank account, just so that you can determine which bank account is which bank account. We're not going to show that whole thing. And we take cybersecurity very seriously, as we know many of the crimes that happen today happens on cybersecurity, happens over the internet, or within your portal, within whatever bank portal you're using. So we take that very seriously, and think it's a very important thing. Special announcement. I did say there was something new. If you are already a participant with TrustIndiana, you should have received an email that to set your credentials. It's called the Set Your Credentials email. And what this does is the new portal is coming. This is going to benefit all of us. First of all, it's going to be, as you see, faster loading times. You're going to be able to see a longer historical period. The dual authorizations. Before, I said you had dual authorization before. You had a login, a username, and a login. This one, actually, with the new portal, is going to be great, wonderful, in that whoever does your transaction, it will send an email to every other person that has signing privileges, and one must accept it. That is not the instigator, the person that initially set the transaction. So this makes sure that more than one person knows. Now, this is optional. You don't have to opt into this, but for safety reasons, highly recommended. When you get in there and navigate, it will be easy, user-friendly. If you have any questions, I'm always here to walk through things with you. Client services is also there to walk through with you. In other words, we're all here for you. So any questions, feel free to direct them one of our way. It should be going live a little over a month or so. So just watch for those emails. If you have not received it, get in contact with me or client services, and that number will be at the end. If you ever just want to call client services for any of this information, feel free to do so. They always have rate information. Always happy to help you set up a new account or to add sub-accounts. Setting up a new account is a little harder than adding sub-accounts, as you're going to have bank accounts associated with it and signatories and such. But here's their information, and feel free to contact them if you have any questions. You can also contact me at that 888 number. Hit 2 to contact me. I'm happy to take your call. If you want to talk to client services, who are the only ones that can actually touch your money, make sure you hit 1 when you call that number. You might be glad that I can't touch your money. Changes to existing accounts. Sorry, I missed that one. Because we are so, our security is so robust. If you're going to be making changes to your account, there are many things that we have to double check to make sure that you're on the up and up. So that can only be done through client services as well. Symbol to enroll. You can go to the TrustIndiana website, and there is a form to join. You'll have to print that off and sign it, and then you can either fax it in or email it in. Snail mail takes a little bit longer, but if you're willing to wait that long, feel free to do it that way. you complete the registration form and get it sent to the client services, I can also deliver it for you if you feel better doing that. But we'll get that then set up for you relatively quickly. You'll at least get an email within 24 hours stating that your account has been established. And then within a few days, business days after that, you'll get an email to go ahead and set up your login and credentials and the security questions in order to log into that portal. There's a great little place on our website where you can look at backdated information as to if I were to have invested this much with TrustIndiana from this date to this date, how much would I have earned? So it's a great tool to use that you can compare to your bank account, your bank statements, to compare if I had invested here versus what I have at my bank, earned at my bank. And so great comparison. Wish we could predate it or going forward, but then we don't have crystal balls, so we don't know what the rate's going to be. Although it might be nice to know that information. Then again, it may be good that I don't. Here's some interesting information. So from 2018, we were able to give $25 million back in investment earnings. And then in 2019, it was over $31 million that we were able to give back in interest earnings. So that's always a nice number to see, and money that we're happy to put back into our communities. Much needed too. So if you ever have any questions regarding any of this PowerPoint, or just questions in general, feel free to contact me. Again, the phone number, if you push 1, you'll get client services. Push 2, you'll get directly to me. Or if you don't want feedback on your phone when you talk to me, or that satellite pause, you can call me directly on the mobile phone, and I'm available there as well. Contact me in any way you feel comfortable.